Hello, 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 everybody. How's everybody doing? Hey, Lanika, how's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining. How is everybody doing? Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Thanks so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Trying to share this on my own page. That is beautiful. Hello, Shakithia Taylor. How are you? Hey, Dr. Kim. How are you? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. It has truly been an incredible last couple of days. If you have not been here with us these last couple of days on this online women's summit, then you have definitely been missing a treat. Let me just tell you guys, the first day was absolutely amazing. The second day was absolutely amazing. And then today, Denise Lee kicked off. It has been absolutely amazing. And so don't you dare miss this Women's Summit online. You have the ability right from the comfort of your own home to be right here with us, even during this COVID-19. And so before I go into anything, I want to thank our visionary, our amazing leader, Mrs. Lanika Scott, the visionary of all of this, the millionaire mom who was so obedient to what God told her to do for such a time as this. So the gratefulness of that, oh my God, is absolutely amazing. So we just thank you, Lanika, for putting this on. And so even during COVID-19, women all across the world have the opportunity right from the comfort of your own home to allow God to speak in your life, in your homes, even during such a time as this. So I'm just excited. I'm super excited to be here. I'm happy to be here. And I'm just grateful for any time the Lord allows me to stand and before his presence and just to serve and to give information that he has allowed and poured into me. So let me go ahead and get started here. I'm so excited. I got books all over the place, y'all. But how to forgive and let it go. I'm going to let that marinate for just a second, because if y'all know like I know, forgiveness is that one thing that is nothing easy, right? There is nothing easy about forgiveness. But what I can say is one thing that's so important in our lives today is relationships. And being in the network marketing industry, relationships are so important. They're so valuable. And you got to deal with people. So you got to know how to navigate through this thing called life and build relationships and build them in a godly way, love like God wants us to love. And so how in the world are you supposed to forgive when things have been done to you? Well, let me just say some of the components of a relationship is love, agreement, celebration, because we love to celebrate. Communication is a key. And then there is forgiveness. Forgiveness is the one thing that you don't hear a lot of teachings about it. You don't hear a lot of people telling you how to do it. You're trying to figure this thing out. But forgiveness is the one thing, let me tell you, that is hindering a lot of people from moving from where they are to where it is that God truly wants them to go, because there's a blockage that is hindering you. See, when you truly understand forgiveness and how forgiveness works, you'd be amazed at how this thing works. I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful that God has allowed me to go through experiences, through circumstances. It's because through those things is where I learned the power and the true freedom in forgiveness. Forgiveness is truly freedom, but forgiveness, I'm going to tell you something, it consumes a lot of energy. Forgiveness is that thing because forgiveness is a deep emotion and it's complex. Would you not agree? That thing, oh my God, forgiveness, it's not easy. So if anybody told you that being able to forgive was going to be easy, you're just going to get up one day and, oh, I feel like forgiving, I really want to do it. It's not going to happen like that. But forgiveness is a deep emotion that you have to make a conscious effort to do the work to get to the place of where God really wants you to be. See, the thing about forgiveness is you actually have an option, but you really don't have an option. But forgiveness is a luxury. But many people, and I'm going to tell you why people look at it as a luxury or an option, is because you measure how you're going to forgive, and if you choose to forgive based off of the events or the hurt or pain that's attached to what has been done to you. And so you feel like you can walk around here and just say, that hurt me too bad. I can't do that. No, that's hard. Well, let me tell you something. Forgiveness, it's so liberating. There's a freedom that's attached to forgiveness. And so let's talk about this thing. Because it's 3 words, I forgive you, but yet those 3 words is simple, but yet complex, and that thing is hard. Okay? So whoever told you forgiveness is easy, it's not. Because forgiveness is actually a process. You're not just going to wake up and, like I said, that you're just going to decide, I'm going to forgive. It's not that simple. So let's talk about why forgiveness is so hard. Forgiveness is hard because, like I said, it is a deep emotion. It's very strong feelings. It's deep because it's attached to a violation. Something somebody did to you, they hurt you, they talked about you, you were violated, there was a betrayal, you got stabbed in the back, people rub you the wrong way. This thing of forgiveness, it goes deep. But forgiveness is the one thing that you have to do to free yourself. And you may be asking, okay, well, what does forgiveness have to do with business? And forgiveness has to do with every single thing in your life. Because anytime you are attached to people, then that means you have to deal with people. God will send some people your way and he'll attach people to you. Oh my God, they're the most difficult. They will betray you. They will stab you in your back. And then you say, Lord, and I still got to do what it is that you called me to do? Really? Yes. But let me tell you how good God is. Because God will use people to move you, to grow you, to expand you. See, because what I've learned is the higher you go, the higher the responsibility, so the higher the view, and the higher you have to be able to deal on a whole nother level. And so you have to go through these experiences. You see, it's these experiences that teach you. What I've learned in life is I never learned things about me, myself, until I actually went through it. And then when I went through it, it was like, oh my God, you mean to tell me I got to do this? I got to do that? Absolutely. But let me tell you something. People are going to come through here and some major things are going to happen to you. I'm just being honest with you. Some major things are going to happen. Some good, some a little, you're going to have some stuff that's going to knock you off your feet. You're going to have some people that were once your friends that are going to betray you. You may not be friends anymore. And you got to stand up and forgive. Yes, you do. You still got to show up and love as God loves. See, that's the one lesson that I learned, because when God has chosen you, He didn't say it was going to be easy, but there are some things that you got to go through yourself. Y'all, this thing of forgiveness is so passionate to me. Oh my God, because I've had to do it. And because of understanding how to do it, I understand the process that it takes to get on the other side of this thing. And so let's talk about this thing, because I could go on. We could be up here all night, right, talking about forgiveness, but we're not going to do that. And so let me tell you a quote that Lewis Smead says. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and to discover that, guess what, that prisoner is actually you. Is that not amazing? The prisoner is actually you. See, that's what you don't realize, is you're the one that's in bondage. You're the one that's walking around here. You know, forgiveness, listen to me. Forgiveness is very unhealthy. Forgiveness will have you having some health issues, because forgiveness is bondage. You're around here holding stuff in, and then the person that has done the wrong to you, you look up, they're going on about your business. You're the one that's messed up. Guys, you got to let it go. You got to let those things go. Okay? So let's just talk about, like I said, why some people feel like they just can't forgive, because the pain is too deep. I can't do this. That was too much for me. They hurt me. I was violated. My mom left me when I was a child. You know, that husband walked out on me. My business partner betrayed me. How the world am I supposed to get over that? I can't get over that. When in order for you to really be free and live in true abundance and freedom, you have to forgive. So think about it. Who's really the prisoner? You are, because you're the one that's in bondage. You know, like I said, I must say, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not. It's not going to happen overnight. So this thing of forgiveness is not going to happen overnight, because the ability to forgive someone else is rooted in you being yourself forgiven. I'm going to say that again. Your ability to forgive someone else is rooted in you being yourself forgiven. See, I understand all of this. Guys, this thing of forgiveness is deep, but you got to forgive. And so Max Lucado says, forgiveness is a change of mind toward your offender. See yourself, your enemy, as God's child, and revenge as God's job. Is that not deep? So if you see your enemy as God's child, then you're going to release it to God and allow God to work on the person. And see, I realized in life that people are going to hurt you no matter what. It's a part of life. People are going to mistreat you. People are going to abuse you. People are going to backstab on you. You're going to go through some violation. You may have had a parent, like I said, that wasn't there, a father wasn't there. I see this so many times with young women who didn't have a father. They hold on to it forever, and it carries into other relationships. Oh, wow. Forgiveness. But let me tell you something. This means we have a choice to either look inward or outward. Outward means I'm going to stay stuck. I'm going to be mad all the time. I'm going to be bitter. I'm not letting go of nothing. Forget them. This pain is too deep. I can't do this. Yeah, don't come at me. They need to be the one to forgive. I'm not doing it. Inward means I can allow God to work on me, to keep my attitude and my mind right as I trust Him, to fill me, to give me exactly what I need to get to where it is that I need to go. Because how I respond to the people who hurt me is dependent on my attitude towards God. And the only way God can change your mind toward an offender is by allowing God to work on you and releasing it to Him. So He's the one that can help you. You know, I'm going to tell you a story about a time that I had to forgive. When I was married to my daughter's father, oh my God, so that was over 32 years ago, 30 plus years ago. And I tell you what, I hadn't even had my daughter yet. And I found out in the midstream of my pregnancy that my husband had gotten somebody else pregnant. Wow, what a blow. That was a serious blow. And so, did it hurt? Absolutely. It hurt so bad that the pain was so messed up, because here I am, married, I'm young, I don't really understand this thing called life, not to the way that I do now, but he ended up having an outside child. And so here I am, I'm carrying a child, she's carrying a child at the same time. And I'm like, oh my God, what the world am I supposed to do? And so I went on, had Prashanda. My daughter's name is Prashanda. And I remember it so well. After the fact, I literally had to pull from within and forgive. Because you see, what I found is my inability to forgive was a blockage for me. It was an attachment to things that I wasn't proud of. You see, when I would see my daughter, sometimes I would see her father and the hurt that was done to me. And so I didn't want to be like that. It's no way. I didn't want to go through that. I didn't want to have to look at my daughter and I got hurt, I got pain. This is somebody I carried for 9 months, a beautiful baby girl, but the pain was so deep, I was not able to release it at that time. I wasn't able to do it. And so I would see my daughter and I would literally, the anger, and I would be like, oh my God. And I remember talking to my mom, like, Mom, I don't want to be like this. What do I do? This is my daughter. How the world am I looking at my daughter? But I love her, but I'm mad. I got all these emotions. I got all this stuff going on. How in the world am I supposed to get through this? Well, this is when I had to take responsibility to be able to forgive. I had to be responsible. I had to understand that I am God's child. I can do just what God says that I can do it in the way that He wants me to do it. And so how did I get up from that? Well, I took responsibility for it. I took responsibility for it because what I knew is I still got to be a mother to my child, regardless of what her dad did, because that was hard. Infidelity, that wasn't easy. And then the thing is, I had a child that was evident of the cheating, right? And so I had to literally get through that pain. No, that was not easy. That was not easy. But I had to take responsibility for the forgiveness, okay? And once I realized that if I don't get this thing right, my daughter is going to be affected. And she's going to be affected in a mighty, mighty way. And so I remember talking to my mom, going back and forth, and she told me to pray about it. She told me to really seek guidance from God. Well, I'm 22. I'm 22 years old then, but I'm grateful that I found the Lord at an early age, and so the foundation for me was set. And so I knew how to call on Him. I knew how to rely on Him, even when I didn't understand what was going on. And so what I did, though, I showed up. I showed up with God to show me exactly what it was to do. And all I could see at that time is God is love. God is love. God, you're love. But how do I get through this pain? How do I get through this betrayal? How do you expect me to do this? Well, once I took responsibility and I understood that the relationship with my husband was now over, see, I was able to take inventory of that relationship. And I was able now to say, is this relationship reconcilable? Because this is where many people get this thing messed up. Because just because someone has violated you, betrayed you, it does not mean that the relationship is going to be reconciled. And once I knew that the relationship was not reconcilable, I knew exactly at that moment that I had to redefine that relationship. And now I'm able to redefine the relationship. This is my daughter's father, and my daughter comes first, and I got to take me out of the equation, and I no longer look at him as my husband. Now I can see him as God's child. Okay, you did something wrong, so now I'm detached from a wife and a husband relationship. I redefined the relationship, and I understood, oh my God, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do with this, my daughter will be affected because my inability and refusal to be disobedient to God. I had to be obedient. And so I had to show up. I took responsibility. I loved like God loved, and I redefined the relationship, and I was able to get up and show up in a whole nother manner. And from there, it was amazing. We did get divorced, and we're the best of friends now. And so once I got out of it, it was the most beautiful thing because I realized, life happens. But what if I carried bitterness for a long period of time? Do you know that I would have been the reason why my daughter wouldn't have allowed? See, parents, what you don't realize is when you're mad at that father, you carry that, and your child feels that. And you don't give your child the true freedom to build a relationship with who hurt you. And so you got to be able to take responsibility and redefine that relationship. Same thing in business, because that will happen to you in business. We're in a people-based business. So we're in a people-based business, and so things are going to happen. People are going to mistreat you, like I said. And sometimes you got to go back to say, okay, is this relationship reconcilable? Will I be able to pick back up where we left off? Will I be able to do this the same normal business? Or am I going to have to redefine this relationship? Because let me tell you something. Forgiveness takes one. Reconciliation takes two. Forgiveness takes one. Reconciliation takes two. And so if two people are not willing to do the work on their parts in what happened, there will be no reconciliation because trust has to be rebuilt. Conversations have to be had. Truth and honesty is a key factor to forgiveness. Okay? But forgiveness, oh my God, is so liberating. It's so free. So guys, let's go. I'm so excited. I talked about the reconciliation. that has to go, but you got to make sure that you know who you're dealing with. And I'm going to tell you some of the symptoms of unforgiveness. This is when you know, and you got to be true and honest to yourself. When answering these questions, this will help you, and this is when you'll know if you are still bitter, if you have not forgiven, because these are the things that will come up, okay? This is when you'll know is if there's still unforgiveness in your heart. Because here's the truth. Whatever's in your heart, it's going to come out through your words, through your action, in your thoughts. Forgiveness, guys, is truly freedoms. And so some of the symptoms of forgiveness is when you think of the person who offended you, is there love and joy in your heart? Ask yourself that question. If there's not, you have not forgiven. Can you seriously pray for that person, wanting God's best for their life? Can you pray for them? Can you really want God's best for their life? Do you look for ways for payback or revenge? Do you still find yourself wanting the person to feel your hurt or pain? Do you find yourself always trying to avoid the person? Do you have strong, anxious emotions when you see the person who hurt you? Do you find it easy to not care what happens to this person? Do you find yourself blaming God, asking him, why did you let this happen to me? Do you find that your acts of love, they're not genuine? You're just showing up. Nothing that you're doing is genuine. You're just doing the acts. But if you have to go back with any of those questions, it's a sign that you still have not forgiven. And so you got to go back every single time. This is when you'll know. Because you know how when you have a cut, you put a Band-Aid on it, but the cut is still there, and you could have some alcohol or something that's really strong hit it, and then it hits it, and it's like, oh, that hurts. Because the Band-Aid is not healed. I mean, the wound is not healed. That's the same thing with forgiveness. You have not forgiven. You are still holding on. When you can truly get up and show up, and none of these things bother you, you really can go to God in prayer about this person with a pure heart. Because, guys, I'm going to tell you something. Oh, my God. Forgiveness cleanses your heart. Forgiveness is what gives you true peace, true joy. Oh my God, forgiveness is that thing. How do I know? I've had to do it. I've had to do it so many times, but it just does not happen. You got to be willing to put in the work. The work. And how does that happen? One of the things that was so key for me, and like I said, this is what keeps me. And this is the Bible, the Word of God. And so there are many scriptures in here. But let me tell you what one that was very favorite, and one my mom told me back in that instance. And it was Matthew 6:14, 15. It is, for if you forgive others their offenses, your heavenly Father will forgive you as well. But if you don't forgive others, your Father will not forgive your offenses. And so I always, anytime something comes up, I always go back to that particular scripture. And the reason that I love that one is because you got to see yourself. See, this is one of my quotes. True forgiveness is when you can pull from within to see the offender as someone you once were in the place needing forgiveness. See, here's your reality. None of us are perfect. I don't care how much money you've made. I don't care what accomplishments you've had in your life. Nobody's perfect, and we're striving to be more and more like Christ every day. And so when you have to go, and what helps me is when someone does something, God gives us grace. And so when you got to go back and see this person as you being once the person, see, because you've hurt people too. We've all hurt people. And so I got to go back to that place like seeing myself. Okay, well, what about when I hurt this person? God gave me grace. I was able to come back and they forgave me. And let me say this too. You got to be okay that you might not get those words of forgiveness. You got to be okay with that. But forgiveness is going to free you. And so you got to shift yourself. Strive every day to be more and more like Christ. Every day. Don't just say this thing. You got to really be willing to show up and do it. You can't show up and be fake. See, God already knows our heart. That's the beautiful thing about this. God already knows your heart. And so you got to show up every single day, striving more and more and more every day to be more and more like him. And the beautiful thing about it, even as I'm getting ready to wrap this up, even as we, build big businesses, do great things in life, we still got to love. We still got to love people, because anytime God has attached you to do an assignment that is attached to people, that means you have to pull from within. You have to show up like you've never shown up before. Love like God loves. But sometimes, let me say this, you got to set boundaries. See, because forgiveness allows you to identify and still be able to set those healthy boundaries and still get up and move in a way that God really wants you to move. And so, y'all, I'm telling you, I could go on and on and on, on and on and on and on and on and on and on about this thing, forgiveness. But of course, I'm not going to do that. But I'm just so excited because forgiveness is truly freedom. One of the things that I have to say is, we've all been through things, but have you ever seen yourself as you're here and you're walking and you get all this weight? Do you see how that is? This is how unforgiveness is. It's like weight all over you. You can barely walk because it's heavy. It's a burden. You have not allowed yourself to release this thing. Oh my God, it's heavy. What the world? Because you won't let it go. This is what it looks like. You got all this weight on you. But the moment you acknowledge the pain, that's the first thing. Acknowledge that pain. The weight is going to start lifting. Allow God to be your partner. Acknowledge it. Identify with exactly what it is that hurt you, so you know exactly what it is that's hindering you. Take God with you, and then you're able to eventually go from here with that weight, because weight have you bound. You don't even realize it. See, this is what it looks like. You got all this weight. I can't even move. Oh my God, this is heavy. I can't hardly get up. I got to get up. Oh, this weight. This is a lot of weight. Until you allow God. You get up. It's liberating. Oh my God. There's freedom in forgiveness. There's power in forgiveness. So don't you dare hold on to that pain, that hurt. Acknowledge your pain. Acknowledge whatever it is that they did to you, however deep it went, so you can go from here till you can just get up, let it go. And there's freedom. There's freedom, oh my God. And understand that your heart will show up in a different manner. Because I'm telling you, whatever is in your heart, that is what's going to show up. See, you can't hide it. That's the thing about what's in your heart. You can't hide it. It shows in your facial expressions when you show up. You can't even smile right. You're around people that you don't even like. They did you wrong. But I promise you, let me tell you, because I'm a living witness, when you allow God to get in here and you allow him to do the work, see, your posture changes. You show up in a mighty way. You show up understanding that God has me here for a purpose. In spite of who mistreated me, in spite of who violated me, in spite of who did wrong for things to me, I'm going to do just what he said for me to do, and I'm going to love you. If I got to redefine relationships, if I got to do some boundaries, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. And so, guys, I pray that this blessed you on today. Guys, we have had an amazing Women's Online Summit. Have you all not had an amazing time? Oh my God. And so we've had those on day 1, day 2, we're on day 3. And don't you dare not come back here at 8 o'clock. Dr. Kimberly Edwards is going to be here, and she's going to be talking about overcoming. So don't you dare not come back here. Bring some people with you when you come back. And then join us Saturday and Sunday, because we're still going strong. So don't you dare miss it, guys. But let me say this before I leave. Forgiveness is freedom. So free yourself so you can go from here, carrying the weight, to freedom, the true freedom that God has truly created you to be. I love y'all. Thanks y'all so much for joining me. And y'all will be right back here tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. And then don't forget, come on back here for the next 2 days. We'll be here through Sunday. So we got some good stuff for y'all. Y'all have a good evening. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining.